and then have somebody just pinpoint, take out this part. Let him work on it like an editor.
I'm sure one day there'll be something.
You never know. All right, so we're reviewing Bet. By the way, this is a crazy midrash. No, midrash says what you pointed out, which is amazing, that there's no that in the entire book of the entire parasha Vayikra does not mention Aharon's name. All it says is Bnei Aharon, Bnei Aharon, Bnei Aharon. Never mentions until Savet et Aharon v'et banav lemor in our parasha. It doesn't say Aaron's name. And what does the Midrash explain? The Midrash says that Rabbi Yoshua says that from the beginning of the Sefer until now, which is really one parasha, by the way, right? It always says Bnei Aaron. Moshe tells Hakadosh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam, you have a board. What's it called? A board that's what's this called? A well that's hated, and the what's it called that you love? What's up, boys? The well, you guys are early.
10, 10,
I
10.
don't care. It's all good. I'm happy. More the better. The well that's hated, right? You can't love the water that's in the board, right? It's in the well, right? You gave honor to the trees of the olive trees and the vineyards because the Bnei Israel get to eat them, and you said those two trees don't have to come say it. Those two trees don't have to go on the mizbeach, right? So then, so too, safety for Aaron, right? You can't give kavod for his sons and not give kavod to him. And Hakadosh Baruch Hu answers, because of you, I'm going to bring him closer. Not only that, I'm going to make him the ikad. I'm going to make him primary, and his children are going to be tafel. And that's when the parasha starts. But Savet Aaron bet banav lemor. The first time it says Aaron's name. The lev ariyah, we said it should really be the opposite. You should first start by talking about how much you love the water, and therefore you should give honor to the well. Not the opposite. You don't. We said it's a bad sales pitch. You don't start from the bad. You start from the good, and you're trying to show. That's the first thing, right? So he should have explained that he cherishes the water. So therefore, cut some slack to the well. Like if you love the children of Aaron, then cut some slack to Aaron. Don't start by saying you hate Aaron. It's not a, it's not a good thing. And also we said, why did Moshe give two answers, two questions, or two ta'anot? The first one was the well, and the second one was the trees. Just say the well or say the trees. What's the difference? You said the well, the water you love, the well you hate. And then another example is that the trees you hated, and the fruits, you let the trees not get cut because of the fruits that Bnei Israel got to eat, the grapes and the olives, right? And also, why did Hashem give two answers? That in the beginning he says, I'm going to bring him closer. And then after he says, I'm not only going to do that, but I'm going to make him the ikad. I'm going to make him the primary. Why does he do that? Just say, okay, I'll include him. Why does he have to make 2 points? And also, why does it say, ubishbilecha, for you, right? I'm going to do it. Meaning, Moshe did not ask for it to be done for him. He just said, mention I don't give, I don't kavod. Why does Hashem say, because of you, I'm going to do it for you? I didn't ask you to do it for me. I just do it for him. Don't do it for me. Right? And we explained, what did Hashem really want to do to Aaron? He wanted to destroy his lineage. Like Rashi says in Parashat Ekev, kilui by name. Why kilui by name? Because of what he caused everybody to have a hata'ah gedolah, which was telling them what they did wrong, and they're still doing it anyway, right? And then we said, but what do you mean? We have a midrash that says you have people that the one side that says tepilah works all the time, will save you from you annulling the entire, canceling out the entire thing, and you have another opinion that says you have to do teshuvah covers half and tefillah covers half. So the one that says tefillah covers half and teshuvah covers half, that's okay. Why? Because half his children died and not all of his children died. Right? Like Moshe says, right? Ve'ho'ila tefilati lechaper mechetza. That my tefillah helped for half. Why? You need teshuvah for the other half. But the rabbi that holds that the whole thing has to be, the thing has to that tefillah works for everything. What could he say? I thought that tefillah is supposed to be enough. It only worked a half. Why not all? His two sons should be alive. And the Yefet Torah answers and says that really they died from their own sin. That Moshe really was able to cover all four sons, but because they brought the Ezara, they died on their own account.
Right.
And it says like tzitzit, by the way, is tzitzit today, right? We don't have the hiyuv. We put on a tzitzit to make ourselves mehayev to wear the four corner garment to put tzitzit. But this shirt here, I don't need tzitzit on it. but I put this on because it has four corners and I want to do it. So it says in the books, it says that Hashem punishes those who don't wear tzitzit. But they say, what are you talking about? Well, you don't have to put tzitzit on. You don't want it, you don't. He goes, no, but when God forbid a person's getting judged for something, he adds it in. He adds it in. So Moshe, it's crazy. So Moshe, so
I should wear tzitzit more often.
I think you should. For
Me
sure,
too.
by the way. What? You too? How many pairs you wear?
I start wearing at night in bed.
I don't mind that.
That's like Ari anyway, no?
It's
It's not
like
a
what?
chiyuv. It's not a chiyuv.
It's not a hayu, but it's hidur mitzvah. You love
I
it. It's
used
hidur
to.
mitzvah.
I
It's
remember my Ganenet once told us that there was a rabbi who wore a lot of layers of
I
tzitzit,
met him. I
and
met
he
Rabbi
lived
Steinberg.
Yeah, Rav
he lived a very long life.
Yeah, he
Yes.
did.
So the next day, I took all the tzitzits in my jaw
Pinchas
and I put them
Scheinberg.
on, like 5 layers.
Yeah.
The Gemara says there's three things you can't push too hard: your wife, your children, and your own yetzer hara. Start with one pair. Don't put the five. Put the one and keep the one.
Even more
Own
than
it.
that.
I'm
I
telling you.
went to
I'm
my
telling
daughter
you.
to get a
I
good
work. My place I work in the summer is 120, 130 degrees. Okay, because I work in a laundry, we produce heat. We have dryers and ironers that produce 300 degrees, 330 degrees. We have boilers that run all day. It's crazy. I will not take my seat. I wear my seat. I peel my clothes off at the end of the day. I don't care. My seat stays on. I could squeeze the water out. I don't care. It's my seat. It's my thing. Too bad. You know what I mean? Certain things you're willing to subscribe and suffer.
That's why I wear wool even during the summer.
I tried the wool. I'm not there yet. I still have it, and I appreciate you
Like
buying me
not
that
much
pet.
ago. Yeah.
I still have it. I didn't. I want.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't like layers, so I wear my nitzit. Okay, I know.
Yeah, but it's a t-shirt tzitzit. It's just
I know. I know.
it's just wool. It's just a little itchy.
In the
So
summer, schwitz, but sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So again, so then we said that really. So Nadav. So Moshe was able to fix all four, but then But then Nadav and Avihu did what they did, and they had to. And they ended up getting. This ended up being compounded, and that's how they died. Okay, because really the Tefillah Moshe really helped. And then we mentioned the difference that really Aharon should not get any type of credit because Hur, the grandfather, sacrificed his life, so Bnei Israel wouldn't do the Egel. What did he get as a reward? He got his grandson was built the Mishkan. But Aharon, who didn't do that, he shouldn't get his son's rise to power. He didn't do anything. Hashem actually got angry, mad at him. And we know what it says in the Zohar that it's better for a person to die.
Well, his sons did die in Zera Hashem. Like that
But
was
that's
kind of
right.
condition.
But that's before. That's next week. This week the Kohanim. That's four Kohens. Next week you only have two Kohens, the sons. That happens in Shemini. But the Zohar says that a person rather die than see somebody under him rise above him, because it's such. And that's what happened with Shaul. Shaul was king, and David's times to run, then he dies. Same thing with Yeshua and Moshe. Also, by the way, Moshe survived. Moshe died the minute Yeshua took over, because he can't. Moshe can't. You can't have it. It doesn't work. And that concept is exactly the point of the midrash. Moshe is telling Hashem, you should not the well that you hate. You can't love the water. You can't love the offspring. I don't produce these kids. If you're going to love the kids, you got to love the father. You have no choice. That's what he's saying. He goes, because it doesn't make sense. If you still have hatred for Aaron, right? How do we know? Because you didn't mention the name in the beginning, right? All Vaikra, right? Im can mizeh, from that in itself, you cannot mention his own children. And if my prayer worked to save his kids, the ikar of the tefillah wasn't for the kids; it was also for Aaron. So if you're going to mention the kids, then you have to mention Aaron. Does that make sense? The point I prayed. Can you lower that? Reason I prayed was for was for Aaron himself, right? And then the children. But now that if you're gonna salvage the children, then at least salvage Aaron also. That's the main purpose why I'm here. That's the main reason why I prayed. You got to give me that, right? And if you want to say that the sons didn't sin at all, right? Min adin, that they should have been the keuna, right? Min adin hu sheyu ikar keuna, but Aharon himself, who did sin, maybe the keuna should be taken away from him, because what did he have? What did he have the keuna for? Because he saw Moshe and he was happy. He saw Moshe that he got the 3 years younger than him. 3 years younger than him, right? And he what's it called, right? And he was so he has zechut. So maybe it makes sense to give it to let him maintain the keuna in itself, right? Like we see with Moshe by himself in right, because Moshe also had the keuna. So maybe you want to give Aharon the keuna, right? What do you say? You want to give Aharon the keuna, but you don't want to, but you don't have to mention him. Moshe had the keuna. We don't mention anywhere in the Pesukim that Moshe had the keuna. But we know that in Gemara and the Midrashim it says that he had keuna. He had it. It just didn't get passed down to him. Shelo paska keuna mimeno. The keuna didn't end with him, right? Mikol makom. But at the end of the day, he wasn't the Kohen Gadol. So because of this, there's a safek here. I'm going to finish here. That's the safek. There's a safek. What's the safek? The safek is, the safek is that if you want to say that the sons didn't sin, right? But Aharon did sin, and even though you're not going to take away the keuna from him because he has zechut, because he was happy for me, Moshe, it makes sense not to say that Aharon should be the ikar b'keuna, the main kohen, like we see with Moshe. We don't mention Moshe. So bottom line, what is he answering? That's why we need the second thing with the trees, because of the trees. You gave kavod to the trees that they don't have to get chopped up to be used for the mizbeach because of the fruits that they give. If the fruits that they gave, right, the fruits that Aharon gave, were for Bnei Yisrael for the keuna, then you have to give kavod for the trees, which is Aharon. Remember, there's two examples. One is the well, and one is the trees. What we have a safek, should we mention Aharon or not? Moshe is trying to say mention him. Maybe don't mention him like you don't mention Moshe that he has the keuna. Moshe had the keuna. Unless you read Gemara and Zevachim, you won't know. So maybe so Moshe saying, no, I want you to mention Aharon. And that's the reason he gives another example. What's the other example? That the kavod that you give to the trees because of their fruits. Because we ate the fruits, the olives and the grapes. Same way you have to confer honor to Aaron because of the children that died al Kiddush Hashem, which is Nadav and Avihu. Right? Kadesh Habayit bim Yuda'av Shel Makom. Right? Because we know that Hashem told Moshe, Bikrovaya Kadesh, and Moshe thought it was going to be him and Aaron, and it wasn't. It was Nadav and Avihu, which shows that Nadav and Avihu were on a higher level than Moshe and
Why
Aaron.
were they on a higher level?
They just were. I don't know.
It doesn't say.
I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't see. They say the Hashem says that he's going to reward. He's going to show that the Mikdash, the Mishkan, is kadosh from my close ones. So who's my close ones? The ones that are kadosh. So Moshe assumed it was going to be him. I can't assume, but it wasn't. It was Nadav and Avihu. It was his nephews. So Moshe tells Aharon that Bikrovai Kadesh, they're holier than us. That's what it says. Vaidom Aharon. Aharon accepted it. Aharon accepted it. Right? And Hakadosh Baruch Hu answers him, because of you, I'm going to bring him close. What does it mean? Because of you, I'm going to bring him close. Because really, Aharon sinned just like Moshe sinned. Moshe sinned. He didn't want to be the emissary of God to go to Paro. Right? But Aaron did even worse than Moshe because he caused destruction to Bnei Israel because people died. People died, and again, we also the Yetzer Hara came back, and all these other things. Death came back to the world, right? So Moshe could argue and say that Aaron's not holy enough to take on the keuna, return it to my lineage, and he doesn't do that. And when Hashem sees that, he tells him that that if a Basar Vadam is able to forgive, right, and not try to take advantage of the situation, that means that's Balad Hamim, I for sure have to give. So that's why Bishbilcha, that for you, and why the Ikad? Because Ani Oseoto Ikad is because in the Zechut of Nadav and Avihu dying, right, them dying is a greater proof that he forgives Aaron than his living sons Elazar and Itamar. Why? Because the pasuk Bikrovai Kadesh, my close ones. Whoever's close to me is going to be Mekadesh. He did something wrong, they died. So everyone knows Nadav and Avihu died because the Mishkan was so holy, right? So from the zechut of them dying to prove and showing that the Mikdash is so holy, that's why Aharon remained the Ikad. Does that make sense? Don't just say yes. Baruch Adonai Amen, amen.